Back with another ARC book review, and this time is The Backup Plan by Finley. In this book, we follow Thad and Kelly. Now, if they sound familiar at all, you have probably read Can't Say Goodbye, which followed Brady and his two love interest. We get to see Brady in this book. This book does kind of overlap a little bit with that one, so I would kind of recommend just reading it either before or after. It gives you a better full picture of Brady and his story. Now, this book is the start of a new series by Finley. It kind of follows, it's kind of set many, many years after the Fake Boyfriend series, and it is Damon King's sports agency, and these are the new generation that are coming up. So Damon is in it. He is much older. He has gotten some gray hairs. So now, like I said, we're seeing the next generation in this group come up. So like I said, we follow Thad and Kelly in this book. Now, Thad works for Damon King. He is an intern. He, is starting to, get into the sports agency stuff. But this is very much his backup plan. He had very big dreams of going to the MLB, being a professional baseball player. He put in the work. He put in the time. His parents helped him out financially with everything. That was his dream. He was going to make it big. Unfortunately, he didn't make the cut. So now he's had to go up for his backup plan, which is basically to be a sports agent. Now, Thad in the beginning, there's no way to put this nicely. He's a dick. He's an absolute dick in the beginning of this book. He is bitter. He is resentful. He hates the fact that he is not getting, to live out his dream. He is not very happy with, his backup plan. He's going to go through with it because he doesn't have a choice, but he's definitely not a happy person when we first meet him. We also have Kelly, who is an MLB player, and he is basically living the life that Thad wants. He had an amazing rookie year. He's, very talked about. Now, prior to the start of this book, Kelly has come out, and again, if you read Can't Say Goodbye, you know all about that. Now, Kelly has recently come out, and let's just say the responses have been pretty mixed. Kelly suffers from some very severe forms of anxiety, so obviously he is only focusing on the negative comments, and he is really ruminating on those and really having a tough time kind of dealing with the impact of this, and it's just, he's really struggling. So Damon basically decides that he is going to send Kelly, Thad, and Brady off to basically a cabin. The whole plan is for Kelly to basically go through like a social media break for about 2 weeks, really get him off social media, help him reset, get his anxiety down. So Thad and Brady go with him. And like I said, Thad starts his book off kind of being a dick. He has some very preconceived notions of Kelly, and it takes until a point where they have a very honest conversation that Thad realizes he knows nothing about Kelly, and he may actually have to change his opinion a bit. So now Thad does actually have some amazing growth in this book. We not only see his growth from, him realizing these preconceived notions of Kelly, really changing, really, becoming more understanding and empathetic of Kelly and, what Kelly's going through. Obviously, that starts a friendship between them, which turns into something more. But I really loved watching his kind of growth as he really understands the extent of Kelly's anxiety and not only tries to work with him, but also be there for him. We also see a lot of growth with him just in his job in itself. Like I said, this is his backup plan. He is not happy about this, but he's trying to make the most of it. But he is kind of basically just floating through, right? Like, he's not really going above and beyond. He's not trying his hardest. People know he's bitter. So we definitely see throughout the book as he kind of starts to realize that maybe this is actually what he really wants to do, and he really likes being an agent. And we really see him grow and develop in his career. I absolutely loved Kelly. I have never actually connected with a character as much as I did with Kelly. The absolute ruminating on conversations, being really nervous about sending text messages, all of that I have definitely gone through, which I think a lot of people have. But Kelly really spoke to me on such an intrinsic level. I loved him. I think, a lot of things that happened to him in this book are both good and bad. I know at some points he looks at it in a negative way, but I think in the end, there are pretty positive things in his life. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it. But Kelly definitely goes through quite a bit in this book, but at the end, I think it's probably for the best, the things that he goes through. So we do get to see some of our old favorite characters. So we get to see obviously Damon from the Fake Boyfriend series. We get to see Brady. Like I said, we had talked about his book. We also get a brief little cameo of Lane. He's there for like just a little bit. We also get to hear some stories that we all know about. If you've read anything of the Fake Boyfriend series, the Puck Boy series, or the CU hockey series, some of those little stories you'll be like, oh, I know about those. So that actually made this a really fun book. Just, getting these like little brief cameos of some of my favorite characters. Like I said, this is the start of a new series. I don't know how many books there's going to be, but I am kind of hoping we get to see more maybe cameos of other characters. And like I also said, I would recommend reading Can't Say Goodbye just because Brody's book just kind of overlap a bit in this one. So I think it just makes it a little bit more full and focused. I would also recommend reading the Fake Boyfriend series just so you kind of know who Damon is and Maddox and some of these other characters that get mentioned. I don't think it's completely necessary if you kind of want to skip them for now and you just want to go dive into this book, but I would recommend going back and at least reading them at some point. Like I said, again, this book takes place many, many years after the Fake Boyfriend series. So while I think it would be really cool to read it so you kind of understand who all these characters are, it's not completely necessary. We also obviously get a lot of the typical banter and humor and wit in this book with a nice little sprinkling of angst. We do get a happily ever after at the end of this, but it is pretty hard fought. I'm not gonna lie, these boys go through it. There's a lot of things in their way before they can fully be together, but they do, and it's great. I think the ending is perfect, and like I said, it does set up for some really great other books. Specifically, two characters who we get introduced to right at the end. I'm not going to say anything else, but I am really excited for their book. I'm hoping they get a book. But yeah, I think you're going to enjoy not only the older characters that we are so used to, but a lot of the newer characters that we get introduced to. So the backup plan does come out on Thursday, November 7th. Highly recommend it. If you are a fan of any of the Eden Finley books or even Saxon James, you're gonna love this. I think it's a great new addition to the Seidenverse. I am absolutely, like I said, thoroughly excited about this entire series. Can't wait to see what else we get. I think you guys are gonna love Thad and Kelly. Like I said, I think Kelly is very relatable as a character, and I think Thad is a fun character because, like I said, you're gonna hate him in the beginning, and by the end, you are going to absolutely love him. And I always love books that kind of have those really great growth and development of characters. So pick this book up on November 7th and enjoy it as much as I did.